Rita Rudner, she's broken records in Vegas, the longest running solo comedy show. She's had HBO comedy specials, written best-selling books, been in feature films. She was here last year. There's no one I've ever been more excited to have on our stage than Rita Rudner, and thanks for being here. And we're going to do our Rita Rudner. This is our Rita Rudner segment.
Well, thank you very much, and I'm lucky enough because I worked for so long in Las Vegas and I didn't gamble that I don't have to do things unless I like to do them. So when you call and say, do you want to come to Sarasota, and I had such a good time last time, I said, yes, I'm coming back.
Nice.
Oh, we're so glad to
Yeah,
we're glad.
Beautiful. And Rita accepts no compensation whatsoever anymore.
That's not true.
Saying it on air is not legally binding.
No, that under oath, you're not under oath when you say that. You got to be under oath. No.
Well, one of the things that I love is that, you know, for all of your comedy success, a lot of people don't know that you started your career on Broadway.
I was a dancer for 10 years on Broadway.
And this is from Follies?
This is from Follies, and this is what I didn't know, because I was a replacement, the first replacement who went into Follies on Broadway. I went from Promises, Promises into Follies. And so that picture was a surprise to me, because when I went to see the show before I was in it, I said, oh, that's very clever, because everybody looks so white. And because we were supposed to be ghosts, how did they do that with the lighting? So then I got to my dressing room table, and there was a big bottle of white paint. And I said, what's this? And I said, this is what you paint yourself with every night.
Oh.
So from top to here to everywhere I had to paint myself with white paint. And in the second half of the show, we were real people, so we'd all have to get in line to shower. And we'd have to shower at intermission.
That's crazy.
And I had like white paint in the crevices of my fingers for about 10 years after that.
Oh my.
But it was so much fun, and I loved when I was a dancer.
Oh, and then Annie, you were in Annie?
I played Lily St. Regis in Annie. I was the
Yes.
prostitute, not in real life, just in the show. And that was fun too. But when I was in Annie, that's when I started to think, you know, this is my 6th Broadway show. I've been on Broadway for 10 years. And every time I go to a show, it's so hard, you know, and there are millions of dancers and singers and actresses who are women. There are 2 female comedians that I know. There's Joan Rivers and Phyllis Diller. I said, so why don't I try to be a comedian, because there won't be so many people at the audition. So that's what I did. I said, let's try and be a comedian. So then I just said, I found out I absolutely love comedy just as much as I love dancing, which is good, because dancing, you don't get better after you're 30.
But I said, so you could do it right now?
No. And I looked and I said, you know, George Burns is still working and Gwen Verdon is dead. So I said, let's be George Burns, because you don't have to work. You stand still with the microphone. So that's it. And at the end, he was sitting down with the microphone. So that's good too.
But a lot more than that, I mean, you're hysterical, and you've been a favorite of so many. Tell us about Vegas.
I do love Vegas, and what was really great about it is we decided to adopt our child, and I didn't want to travel anymore because I was just everywhere, and my husband had a comedy club in Australia, and he had shows in England, and I had shows all over the world, and we said, well, how are we going to have a family with this going on? And then we decided Vegas is one of the only places that a performer, a comedian especially, can have a normal life, because I took a car to my show every night and the audience took a plane.
Good concept.
Yeah. I was well rested. The audience had jet lag. And people say, oh, Vegas, Vegas, Vegas. And it allowed me to be a mom, which I would never have wanted to miss that in a million years, because I was home by 10 at night. I could take my daughter to school at 7 in the morning, because I don't, you know, look at me. Do I party? No. So it was really the best thing that could have ever happened to us.
And she's a teenager. Tell us about your daughter.
Well, I have to be careful, because it's not easy being a teenager. She recently sprained both of her optic nerves by rolling her eyes at
me. Does she think you're funny?
No, she doesn't think I'm funny at all. But that was her opening up a present that had been sent to me.
She opens your present. And you also have a beautiful dog. We're big dog lovers on the show. We want to hear about Twinkle.
Well, you know, my dog Bonkers was in my show in Vegas. He played every hotel in Vegas, more hotels than a hooker. Bonkers was in. And And he was from a show originally in Vegas called the Super Dogs. He got hit by a car, couldn't be in the show anymore, and had an artificial hip, and we took him, and I didn't make him jump, but he eventually was in the show because they told me that dogs weren't allowed in the hotel unless they were in the show. So I put him in the show. And that little girl is Twinkle, and she's not smart enough to be in the show, but she's good. And I love dogs so much. I'm writing my autobiography, and it's called My Life in Dog Years, because it's divided up into my 4 dogs that I had. My dog when I was growing up, my dog in New York, my dog in Las Vegas, and Twinkle. So I realized that every chapter in my life is connected to a dog.
Not a bad way to live.
Yeah.
We're going to keep talking to Rita. You'll be able to catch Rita Rudner at McCurdy's Comedy Theater April 13th and 14th. For tickets and information, visit the website. You want to go quick because they're going fast. Coming up next, Rita's going to stick around. We're going to play a game inspired by Friday the 13th.
Ooh, I'm scared.